Hello everybody, Festus here again. I wanted to talk to you about house hacking and my experience with house hacking. So, when I first moved to Columbus, I purchased a luxury apartment, which was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. And I opted into looking at my options on a roommate when I first moved in. So, upon moving in, there was a lot of substitute teachers that wanted to live with me. In Columbus, substitute teachers are plenty, and it's hard for them to really find work. And so some tried to haggle on the price, and some didn't, right? Some people wanted to pay the full price, but weren't too sure. And then I just opted to not have a roommate in that area. My older brother, because it was COVID, and he was schooling from home, he decided to come to Columbus. Didn't have a girlfriend at the time or nothing. And so he came to Columbus. When he lived with me, he paid the electricity bill. However, because he was still in school, I did not have him pay rent. So technically, I was paying all those bills myself. And it's not that he had to live in Columbus, but he opted into living in Columbus because I was here and it was an experience for him. So fast forward, I purchased my first property. It's not in the best area. However, it was a very beautiful property. It was very cheap for me to purchase at the time in 2021, January 2021. And, it was a great opportunity for me. And so this time I had a lot more people who wanted to live in this property because it's a house and not an apartment. That's another thing about Columbus. If it's a house, you'll have people running down your door to get in. And that was another thing. So a lot of people didn't want to show their social security. A lot of people didn't want to do the background check. A lot of people wouldn't tell you why. And look, I was very, very open and honest with these people. I said, hey, if you have something on your background check, if you have something that you need to disclose to me, let me know now. And I'm still going to run the background check. But if I tell you that I'm okay with X, Y, and Z, then you'll be good to go. And, in that area, a lot of people were scared and afraid of doing so. So I opted to not have a roommate. I lived there for a month. And I probably would have had a roommate later on down the line. But as I was getting ready to put the house for rent completely, there was hundreds of people knocking on my door, driving down to see it. Like they didn't even have like a real estate agent or somebody to open the door for them and let them see the house. But they were already ready. Like I had cars driving down my block in order to just see the property. They're like, wow, it's so beautiful, right? And so had people offer me all types of stuff. Hey, we'll mow the lawn, we'll take care of everything, X, Y, and Z. And so that was very refreshing to see that I wouldn't have any trouble whatsoever getting the rents that I need for this unit. And I really didn't. I've almost doubled what my mortgage is paying in rent. And, I've only had the property for a year. So, it was an amazing time to buy in that area where you can almost double your rent, especially at this low interest rate. And so I did not house hack that property. What did I do? Well, I was going through a time in where I wanted to try something different. And I thought that the Army was the best option for me. So I elected to join the Army. I was in the Army for 8 months. My house was rented. And when I decided that the Army wasn't for me, I had to figure it out. So I came to Columbus, didn't have a place to live. My house was rented out. And I needed to buy a new property. Can't buy a property without a job. So I buy a car within 3 days. I get a job. Without having one paycheck, I started looking for a house. with the offer letter that I received. 2 weeks into my search, I found the house that I wanted. We get into contract, and we can't close because I need another 2-week pay stub. And so they're waiting for a month of pay stubs. Luckily, I've already had 2 weeks of it, and they're just waiting for that other 2 weeks so that we can close on the deal. It took 29 days for me to close from the day that I came back to Columbus. From the very first day that I stepped foot back in Columbus, it took 29 days for me to close on my next property, which means it took less than a month for me to buy my second house. When I bought this house, I bought it in this beautiful area that you're seeing here, and it's very quiet, as you can see. It's next to a school, very close to 2 malls, about 15 minutes away each and every way. And if you wanted to go downtown, that's also 17-minute drive. There's nothing that's really 20 minutes or more away. So I had people who came up to me, and the house wasn't even listed for rent, and they were offering to pay the equivalent of my mortgage to move in. So essentially, I would not have a place to live. But without me even asking, they already had a number in their head that they were willing to pay me to live in my home. Now, I was looking at rents in the area. At the time, they were like $1,600, $1,700, and those have now increased to $1,800, $1,900. And some are even at $2,000, depending on your home. Some are even $2,400, but those are not the same type of homes. Those are homes with 4 beds, at least 2.5 baths, and my home is 3 beds, 1.5 baths. So I'm not gonna get $2,400 for my home, but I might get $18, right? So, and that would still be about $600 more than what I'm paying for my mortgage. So with that being said, that meets my requirements of at least cash flowing $400 or more. And I actually cash flow on both of my properties $500 or more. So those are really, really good things. So when I got into this home, the first month, I rented out one of my 3 rooms. I loved the tenant, really, really great. He was Spanish from Texas, and he was just here for work. In the hotel, he was spending probably $900 a month, and if he lived with me, he would be spending about $700. So, actually, I think I had him at $675 because he was my first tenant. He loved it. The man was saving over $200 a month now. He was able to cook. He didn't have to buy food every single day. Very, very clean person. Didn't really give me any problems. It was amazing. And so I was like, wow, let me take this opportunity to rent out another room because everybody's going to be like him. That wasn't the case. But I was able to get another tenant once he left that was an older gentleman. Very, very clean. He works from home, which is a little different, but did not cause me any problems. I increased his rent because he worked from home, and then I increased his rent when he moved into the bigger room, and then I finally got a tenant who was a lot younger, who is very sexually active with his female friends, but pays on time, very clean, doesn't cause any troubles. Very quiet for the most part outside of when he's doing laundry. And so with this roommate thing, I'm starting to be like, wow, I haven't paid my mortgage since I moved in. And on the first house, I only paid my mortgage for 1 month. So for the 2 properties that I bought in the last almost 2 years, I've literally only paid one of the mortgages one time in full before they were all rented out. So I'm about 2 years in, and all I've had to do was save and invest, save and invest, save and invest, and continue to compound my interest, continue to cash flow. And so because these properties are newer, these properties are in good standing, these properties are properly insured, I don't anticipate any big problems for the next 5 years. The only time I've ever been to the other property is for landscaping work and things of that nature. And you know, I believe that it's been an amazing journey for me. So, did I have to spend a lot on different types of equipment when I first bought these properties? Absolutely. Spent a lot on lights, new fixtures, new aesthetics, new tools for landscaping, lawnmower, this, that, X, Y, and Z. It was unbelievable how much money I was spending. Some months I would spend $1,000 here, $1,000 there, but over time, it almost felt like it was never ending. Like it would just keep going. Like I would always have something else to buy, but eventually, after about 6-7 months, there was nothing else to buy. Like I finally bought everything, and now that I'm a fully equipped landlord, I can just rely on my rents coming in. One other good thing is that you see all these leaves that are falling. My house hasn't been hit with leaves. I haven't had to get a leaf blower. So if I wanted to stay consistent with buying more and more shit, I would get a leaf blower. But I also have neighbors that would probably allow me to use theirs as well. So I don't necessarily need to get one. Or I can just let my grass go and then I can mow all of the leaves as well. But that's not a big issue for me. And so, yeah, it's been a journey with tenants. Not every single tenant was great. I had a roommate, that had a problem with remembering to do certain things, and he would leave the door open every single day when he left the house. That was very concerning to me. It's not the neighborhood that was concerning, because look, it's a very peaceful and beautiful neighborhood, but the fact that you're always leaving the door open. Yes, I have a security system. Yes, I have a roommate that stays in the house because he works from home. However, like that's just negligent, and I couldn't have that. And so I had to have this roommate leave. He got some of his deposit back, even though he needed to leave early, because I don't want to be a slumlord. I want to be a fair person. And so, you run into things like that. And this guy came with a brand new vehicle and a suit and tie. He owns his own non-for-profit business. This man looked like everything that I would want in a roommate. And he turned out to be one of the worst roommates that I could have ever had. And so the car that he came in with, not that it really matters, but it wasn't his car, it was a rental. And, this guy basically had a facade. That rental was for a few weeks, and then he didn't have a vehicle. I had to ask my neighbor, whose boyfriend was a car dealer, to get him a vehicle, and they ended up selling him a vehicle for about $1,500. So, it's unbelievable. Can you imagine being in my position when you see this clean-cut gentleman with this nice, beautiful vehicle who owns his own business and he wants to rent a room from you? And I'm just like, okay, well, this is going to be a smooth process, right? And I don't want to speak on his history, although he wasn't mentioned, but he had a few things on his background check, and I was like, well, that was in the past, and it'll be all right moving forward. But no, it wasn't. Every single time he came home, for whatever reason, he had to like yell or say something so that people would know that he was in the house. Every time I would walk past, he would make some type of noise just so that I could acknowledge him, whether it be him kissing, a kissing sound or something, just to let me know that, oh, hey, acknowledge him, like, oh, wow, I didn't see you there. Like, it was just so weird. And me being from New York, you know, I'm very quiet. I'm very reserved for the most part. You might not think so, but I'm very, very quiet and reserved. I like to stay to myself. I like to keep to myself. And so some of my roommates, it took some getting used to. I don't want to say, oh, hey, every single time I see you. You know, I just want to enjoy my life and live my life. And, you know, you enjoy yours in peace and quiet. And so, you know, it was very, very weird, but it wasn't something that I couldn't deal with. But the straw that broke the camel's back was, you know, your clothes being left in the laundry, your food being put out everywhere, the room being a mess. And I don't really go into their rooms at all. But when I'm invited into your room by you in particular, for whatever the reason may be, whether it's to fix a light or something, like, my guy, like, why the hell is it so damn dirty, you know? And then, you know, the guy was always complaining, oh, it's too hot, oh, it's too cold, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. And I'm just like, wow. Like, this is a nightmare. So I was just like, I was happy to allow this guy to go. You know, like, I bought a couch that's $3,000, which is one of the benefits of living with me, right? You don't got to pay for a dining set because I got a nice dining set. A lot of roommates would probably get like some plastic furniture or something. But no, you got this amazing dining set that I provided. You got this amazing couch that you can invite your guests when you have some over. You have this amazing outdoor furniture that you can, you know, enjoy with your friends. But instead, you elect to take your food, not eat on the dining table, and eat on this $3,000 couch. Like, you could pay me rent for 5 months and it wouldn't be up to $3,000. Get the fuck off my couch. You understand? And I'm sorry for cursing, but like, that's how I felt. And I was just like, wow. And he was like, you know, it's unbelievable that I have to live with my landlord, which I understand. Nobody likes to follow rules. I'm a manager myself. Like, I know people don't want to listen to me. But in all honesty, like, there's just certain courtesies that we should all have for one another. And, you know, use the dining table. They don't have to clean the dining table. They don't clean nothing in the living room, to be honest with you. But like, my new roommates, they don't clean, they don't vacuum the living room at all, right? They don't even clean the kitchen for the most part. But they don't do those little things that would trigger me, like eating on my brand new couch rather than eating at the dining table, or, you know, leaving the door open, which is very, very unsafe. You know, they literally do the bare minimum for the most part. But I'm okay with that. Like, you're paying my mortgage for me. And I don't look at it like, oh, how much am I cash flowing? I'm cash flowing a lot of money, but I don't look at it like that. I look at it as, how many years do I have left on this mortgage? And for me, that is a beautiful thing, because I am 25 and my mortgage is being paid. And, you know, overall, with each passing year, I'm 1 year closer to having a fully paid off home for both properties. And that, to me, is the most amazing thing. It's not how much cash I'm making, which is a decent amount, but it's more so that my properties are being paid off, and time is truly on my side. Time is being invested in me every single waking moment towards my journey of financial freedom, right? Like, every single month, there's an increase in my wealth. There's an increase in my equity. There's an increase in everything that I am working for, I'm striving for. And so that is truly what is the most enjoying thing about each passing month, each passing year. Like, today is actually the day that I moved into my second property a year ago, October 29th. And that is just so amazing. I don't know whether I'll put this video out today or tomorrow, but like, it's just an amazing thing to know that, you know? So again, thank you for tuning in. You have now some insight on my house hacking journey, and I hope you appreciated it. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.